Welcome everyone to another episode of Why the Hell Not here on Brown's World, the show where I cook whatever's on the top of my mind because why the hell not? The inspiration for this episode comes from a strange source. Another channel that I'm a fan of here on YouTube is the Hydraulic Press channel, and a few months ago he did a collab with the Dudesons, another big time popular YouTube channel. And what they did, they took his hydraulic press and tried to squish a whole bunch of cheeseburgers through this cylindrical tube, this acrylic tube, trying to condense into this tiny little patty. But what ended up happening is the burgers squished out the bottom and became this like mushy like stuff. But you know what they did? They took that mush, put it on a platter, and called it lunch. That's what got the gears turning inside my head and made me think, what if I tried to make that stuff for real? The closest thing that I could think of to that is a certain type of stuffing I have around Thanksgiving that my mother cooks, sausage stuffing. So I'm going to take the most common recipe I found for sausage stuffing online. I'll put the link in the description below as always, tweak it up a little bit, and try to make some cheeseburger stuffing. I have no idea what to expect from the stuff. Other than that, I'm only going to be making half of this recipe because I don't know if this is going to be good or not. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get to cooking. Well, the first step requires taking our burger meat, which is this chunk of ground chuck here, and browning it in this pan. I would call that pretty well browned. So now I'm going to drain this. Now while the meat is draining, I shall now take the same pan, add in this quantity of melted butter. In which I will saute this quantity of chopped onions. And while the original recipe called for diced celery, since this is a burger, I am instead going to be using this quantity of dill pickle relish. That'll do. I think this mixture has heated sufficiently, so now to add a small quantity of this amount of diced bread cubes, white bread of course. Eyeball it. Next step is to take this mess, put it in a giant bowl. Hope the bottom doesn't melt. To this we will add the rest of the bread cubes, the cooked ground chuck, some salt, some pepper, some garlic powder, and some onion powder. And the pièce de résistance, cheddar cheese. And now we mix the crap out of it. So there we are, our cheeseburger stuffing. Now all we need to do is bake this. Okay, now we're going to take the cheeseburger stuffing and pop it in this 350 degree oven. Whoa. Heat. And away we go. Okay, it's done cooking. Let's see how it turned out. Oh, did I overdo this? No, I think it looks just fine. For my money, I think that doesn't look too bad. Now let's find out how it tastes. Okay, the cheeseburger stuffing has cooled down a little bit, and now it's time for the tasting. My biggest worry is that the dill pickle relish is going to overwhelm everything there. Well, let's find out. I'm getting a nice mishmash of everything. I'm still worried that the dill pickle might overwhelm it. I may have put too much of that in. So here we go. Attempt number 1 at homemade cheeseburger stuffing. Cheers. is not bad at all. I think I did overdo it a little too much with the dill pickles, with the dill pickle relish. Maybe I have to cut down on the dill pickle stuff a little bit, but it's still not bad. Not getting much of the cheese. Beef is good. I definitely overdid it on the dill pickles though, but I like pickles, so that's good for me. If you don't like pickles, just use less of it, or eliminate them at all. Maybe replace it with diced cucumbers or something. I don't know if anybody else likes it. For some reason, I don't want to say it reminds me of McDonald's for some reason. Maybe that's what they do with their burgers, cook them in butter or whatever. This could become a guilty pleasure of mine. But yeah, I would call this a mild success. I'm not getting too much of the onions either. I think the seasoning mix is pretty good though. I don't know, but just like with the saltiness and the pickliness, kind of reminds me of a McDonald's cheeseburger with the very, very fine diced onions. Getting a good bite with a pickle in it. You know what? I almost forgot something. You can't have cheeseburgers without condiments. First, let's have a little bit with ketchup. Here we go. Cheeseburger stuffing with ketchup. Definitely cuts down on the saltiness a little bit. And now I'm getting the heat of the ghost pepper from the ketchup. Ooh. That might be the key to cutting down the saltiness of this stuff. Just put a little bit of ketchup on it. Get some sweetness in there to neutralize the saltiness. And now some mustard. Now I'm more of a mustard guy, so this might be my cup of tea. Let's find out. Maybe it's just because my mouth's burning from the Jolly ketchup. I'm not getting much of the flavor of everything else though. I think this is a rare case where the stuffing itself just shines. You don't need to put anything on top of this. It's good as is. Again, the only change I might make is to reduce the amount of dill pickle relish I put on there. Of course, if you don't like pickles or the saltiness of that flavor, then you wouldn't want it at all. But for what it is, it's actually really, really good. So final analysis? It works. It really does work. Cheeseburger stuffing. Who would have thought? Maybe the guys from my Dog Press channel, the Dudesons, are onto something with this. Well, that will do it for another episode of Why the Hell Not Here on Bryno's World. Thank you all very much for watching. If you got any weird ideas for weird stuff I can make on the show, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, don't forget to like this video, share it with your buddies, and subscribe if you haven't already. And please do, because if and when I get to 100 subscribers, I will attempt a Carolina Reaper Chicken Wing Challenge, which is becoming more and more and more daunting, more and more terrifying the more I think about it. And of course, if you got money in your pocket to burn, there's t-shirts and hoodies at my store with links everywhere. Once again, thanks for watching, and have a good one.